Hello everybody, this is Franco Bobby and welcome to race number 45 of the 2020-21 NROL Skittles Cup Series season. This is the Apple 500 at the Kansas Speedway. Yes, sir, it is time for another Cup Series race, and yes, we're back at Kansas, but this time, it is time for a slightly longer race, and it is in the daytime, so this race won't be exactly like the one that we had earlier on in the season. Should make things rather interesting. So, speaking of interesting things, the point situation is rather interesting. So, it seems there's a bit of a big three situation going on. You have Florida Bobbin, Ryan Blaney, and Mark Street, who are all within 5 points of each other at the top of the standings, and then a long way back, the next guy is 60 points back. So, I think our main competition that we want to look out for today is going to be Florida Bobbin, Ryan Blaney, and Mark Jr. These are going to be the big three guys who will likely have to look out for in this race, as these are the guys who are at this point the most likely to win the championship. Also, one thing I want to mention, as it turns out that Jimmy Johnson's win from last week was actually his second win of the season. I totally forgot that Jimmy Johnson won the race at All Club the previous week, so technically, or well, no, not technically, it is officially Jimmy Johnson's actually on 85 wins in his career and 2 wins in this season, the 2020-21 season indeed. So Jimmy Johnson actually 2-time winner this season, not a 1-time winner. So I do apologize for all the Jimmy Johnson fans. I messed that up. Jimmy Johnson, like I said, actually a 2-time winner this season, not a 1-time winner. So, and it just happened that Jimmy Johnson got his 2 wins back to back. So, could we see a repeat from Jimmy Johnson? Well, only time will tell. So with that in mind, let's give you the starting grid for this race. Starting on the pole for this one is Florida Bobbin, alongside second is Chase Elliott, third is Eric Gonrola, fourth is Clint Boyer, fifth is Jimmy Johnson, sixth is Purser, seventh is Chris Buescher, eighth is William Byron, ninth is Cole Custer, 10th is Duck, 11th is Christopher Bell, 12th is Leah, 13th is Brian Priest, 14th is Matt Kenseth, 15th is Alex Bowman, 16th is Douglas, 17th is Kevin Harvick, 18th is Gudrun, 19th is Oliver, 20th is Russell David, 21st is Charlie Reddick, 22nd is Rebecca, 23rd is Austin Dillon, 24th is Andy Hamlin, 25th is Ben Coaches, 26th is Brian Blaney, 27th is Kyle Busch, 28th is Zoe Logano, 29th is Brad Keselowski, 30th is Matt Benedetto, 31st is the Relix Box Nerd, 32nd is Eric Jones, 33rd is Marshall Jr., 34th is Donald, 35th is Kurt Busch, 36th is Tim Tom, 37th is Brian Newman, 38th is Ricky Sears Jr., 39th is Bob Wallace, 40th is James Six, 41st is Quinn Houff, and 42nd is Derper. So you got Florida Bobbin right up front, you got Ryan Blaney, who's somewhere in the middle of the pack, and then you have Truex is quite a ways back. So, let's just say that yesterday Siemens Nationals race really turned the championship in that series on its head. Could this race turn the championship in this series on its head? Or could we see something else? Well, I'm not too sure. I'll tell you what though, if once again we just happen to see the top 3 in points all crash out at some point, then that is actually going to be really good for most guys in the back, because right now you have Cole Custer, who is a long way back in the points. So Cole Custer has a lot of work to do if he wants to have any chance at winning the championship, and I'm not sure if I see Cole Custer doing all that work in the next few races. Same for the likes of Russell David and Duck and some others who are quite far at the bottom of the table. But then you have the guy at the top of the table, Florida Bobbin, Blaney, Truex. Can these guys keep up the momentum? Also Ryan Priest as well, as it turns out he's not very high in the points either. Shame. Oh well, better luck next year. Anyways, with that in mind, pace car pulls on pit road. Bit of a long way to the start box here. And green flag is in there for the Apple 500 in Kansas. Florida Bobbin with a pretty good launch. Chase Elliott falls behind. And Eric Gonrola here as well. Here comes Purser. He's another one who is really needs some help in the playoffs. So they can get some of that help today. Let's all see how long until the first crash of the day. as there's another accident-prone track at the beginning. Alright, we'll at least make it through lap 1 without a crash. Chase Silly right there on behind Freund Bobbin, trying really hard to catch him. Alright. Ooh, we made 2 laps without a crash. Nice. And Chase Silly against Senhai, thanks to Eric Gunrula. And NROL now side by side with Chase Silly for second. So that battle for second has now come up here in Kansas. Oh, okay, not really. Ooh, Henry Motorsports drivers. William Byron catching up. Let's put Byron up to third. Up to second now. William Byron makes up 2 spots at the same corner. William Byron is still looking for his first Cup Series win. And he's fast early in Kansas. Ooh, but Eric Gunroller with a switcheroo gonna go right down. And here is Cole Custer, who needs some help in this playoff run. And here he is all the way up here in the top 5. And now, unlike the Siemens Nash Series, which seems to always crash in lap 1, we're now on lap 5 in the Cup Series race. And so far, no caution. Here comes Nia, who is still on the redemption tour from her loss at Sandown. I'm going to keep bringing that up until she finally does it. I'm sorry. That was a pretty embarrassing loss. And yeah, one interesting detail I can say about Nia is that she will be back at Solus Motorsports next season. So Nia has a couple more years, well, at least another year, to try to get that win. Cole Custer going with a move. Oh, Custer puts it to the bumper of his teammate. Cole Custer not messing around here. He is now serious about this playoff run. So serious that he's willing to put his teammates at risk of crashing. But Eric Gunroll, not a fan of that. And Eric Gunroll going to immediately go underneath him as well. And Nia. Here's Jimmy Johnson now just in the top 5. Jimmy Johnson looking to go 3 in a row. And Custer gets sent high. Jimmy Johnson goes low. Here goes Purserp, another one who needs help. Nia now on the run on Eric Gunrola. It's a bit early to make all these crazy moves, though. It's good to have patience. Because while the Siemens Nash race was actually a shorter race than the previous race, this Cup Series race again is actually longer than the race that we had here earlier in the season. With Jimmy Johnson on Nia. Nia, the young gun, being roughed by a 7-time champion. And Eric Gunroller putting the bumper to the back of Freund Bobbin. Eric Gunroller really wants to leave for some reason, but Freund Bobbin not giving up so easily. Ironically, back here earlier in the season, Freund Bobbin had a shot to win the race, but ultimately couldn't seal the deal. So now he has a second chance to do it. No caution to the first 10 laps. I'm honestly kind of surprised we've gone this far without a caution. But, you know what? That's not necessarily a bad thing. Eric Gunroller trying once again to get around Freund Bobbin, but he sticks it really deep. This time almost tanks Freund Bobbin. But he backs off. And I should say, with the position that Freund Bobbin is in the point standings, he's looking to go back-to-back champions, but Freund Bobbin finally can't hold off Eric Gunroller, and Eric Gunroller makes the move to the inside lane and will claim the lead in this race, and Jimmy Johnson follows behind as well. Oh, Nia on the high line. Not a good place to be. Ooh, Jimmy Johnson not quite able to get around front of Bob, but in front of Bob, and is going to stay into second. And we have another Haas car of Clint Boyer now joining this fight. So we got multiple Stewart Haas racing cars in this race. And Clint Boyer, a Kansas native actually, so what a big day it would be for Clint Boyer if he were to win this race. Clint Boyer actually was doing pretty good in last week's race at Denver as well. So Clint Boyer on the hunt for race win number 2 on the season. Like I may have already mentioned, Clint Boyer does have one win on the season, and that win came a lot earlier in the season back at the Pensacola Super Speedway. Meanwhile, Florida Bobbin not going to give up so easily and try to get back around Eric Ganrola. Take the race rundown. Alright, no caution in the first 15 laps. And Formula but once again goes beneath Eric Ganrola. And there we go. It looks like no caution still. I saw quite a lot of tire smoke though on the front straightaway. So let's actually go back in time and actually see what happened to cause that. As we didn't necessarily have a caution, but we did have a slide of some kind. Looks like it involved Bubba Wallace, actually. Oh, we nearly had our first caution as Bubba Wallace actually gets into it with Martrix Jr., another driver who was happening in the point standings. Martrix Jr. having to do some evasive maneuvers, and Dirtbrax gets tagged by Bubba Wallace as well. Bubba Wallace able to keep it going forward, albeit with a slightly bruised car now. But Bubba Wallace able to keep it going forwards. And with that, no caution. So back to the lead. Florida Bob, but now underneath Eric Ganrola. And Florida Bob will succeed in taking back the lead. And actually, as though that Eric Ganrola would up a couple spots here. And man, the Stewart Haas cars came to play today. They're now just missing on their last teammate, Kevin Harvick. But other than that, the other 3 Haas cars doing pretty good. Now, as far as playoffs, Purserp, another one trying to prove his position, as I mentioned already. Also, we actually have 2 McDonald's sponsored cars in this race, and Matt Kenseth is now making his way up to the pack. Well, one of the McDonald's drivers just had a bit of an accident, so let's see if their other driver can do something. Matt Kenseth about the 6th now. And here comes Cole Custer trying to make a move on his teammate. Oh my goodness, Eric Ganrola now. I tell you what though, for teammates to not giving each other an inch. And now Purserp has come to spoil the party. As he's going to make up 2 spots. 2 spots in the same corner. A nice pass by Purserp. Another thing worth mentioning, it was Grudgeon who won the race here earlier on in the season. So can Purserp make it 2 for 2 for Source Motorsports drivers winning here. And now Clint Boyer not giving Florida Bobbin an inch. They both hit the wall a little bit. Clint Boyer with the run, but not able to complete the pass that time. I tell you what though, it's going to be something this race goes caution free for the full distance. By this point in Steven's Nationals race, we already had a couple cautions. We're in the Cup Series race. So far, no cautions. Which is probably a good thing, because this is a long race. So let's not slow things down. So here comes Percy Serp. I tell you what, with where everyone is in the playoffs, as far as the position in the race, so you got Ryan Blaney, who is so far back that I can't even see him on the ticker. Truex all the way back down to 39. 30. Oh, yeah, there you go. Wow. As Purser makes his way around Clint Boyer, as it turns out that Fornabob's closest competition is somehow, for some reason, all the way back in the field. Meanwhile, Fornabob is all the way up. And he just happens to be the leader in this race as Matt Kenseth gets around Purser for another position. So Fornabob, in Fornabob fashion, is absolutely dominating everything. So let's now watch what happens behind him, as now there's more jockeying for a position as Purser and Matt Kenseth continue to battle, and Purser has moved his way up to second. I mean, he was already in second, but now he's solidifying second place position as the Haas guys are actually starting to fall back a little bit here, and at this point they've decided to split up as here comes Eric Garwola, and here is Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon, for some reason, is up here. I tell you what, though, I'm happy that this race is going caution-free for most of it, but I think a caution right now would definitely shake things up. So what about lap traffic then? Oh, no lap traffic for Miles. Well, we can't really rely on that to shake up this race. Pit stops, though. Pit stops are going to impact this race. Maybe. No, they could, because this is a long enough race for that. Yep, this is indeed a long enough race for pit stops. Will likely impact this race. Actually, tires are starting to wear out, so it's going to be interesting to see how long they go until either caution or pit stops. Yeah, most people is starting to go single file here, and I think that's because most guys are now on worn tires, so passing won't be as easy. Oh, never mind, Purser with an attempt, actually 2 attempts at the same time. As you got Purser and Eric Garwola both going to the bottom lane. And that has worked. Well, it's worked for Purser. Purser up to second now. But what about Eric Garwola? Eric Garwola, though, unable to make up a spot. He might have tucked in behind Matt Kenseth for now. Austin Dillon, though, with a move on Clint Boyer. Side by side for third. And Kenseth having to give in. Purser now run on Fornabob's tail. Couple 12 drivers doing battle. I tell you what, the Siemens Nash just returned the championship fight in that series on its head. This race is kind of doing that too. But only for 2 drivers. See, the big 3. See, here's the situation, right? The big 3 drivers that we're trying to look out for is Fornabob, Ryan Blaney, and Martin Sear. But the thing is, only 2 of those drivers are having bad days. Fornabob, though, is having the best day of anyone as he's in the lead. So while Truex and Blaney might be further back in the playoff standings, Fornabob is still going to be way out in front. So Fornabob will have a really good cushion. If he can keep going, they'll have a really good cushion over the next 5 races of the season, and we could see Fornabob become a back-to-back champion. So Purser actually... Could we see Purser make a attempt for the bomb? But I don't know. Oh! Well, we might not see a fast relief, but we're seeing a fast second as here comes Eric NROL on Purser. And it was Matt Kenneth who just a couple laps ago was right on for the Bob and Stale. Not trying to do it again. Okay, the lap down curve Bo Walls is not too far out in front. Now, with that being said, however, Bo Walls isn't too slow compared to the rest of this field. And it is still pretty early in the race, so it's going to be interesting to see what impact this actually has on the race. Could we see a caution, or could we just see some harmless passing? Ironically, it was Bo Walls who nearly brought out the first caution, but was able to keep going forwards. So front of Bobbin. Right behind Bo Walls. HL lost a bit of momentum there on the back straightaway. I tell you what, unless someone drives really aggressively into turn 4, I don't think that Bo Walls is really going to make any difference. Well, it has kind of brought the front of the pack together a little bit, as here is Matt Kenseth. Oh, never mind, Kenseth has a bit of a gap on Clint Boyer. And William Byron trying to get him on Boyer now. I tell you what though, it's been a little while since we've last had anything really happened in this race. So yeah. Derper. Derper isn't really that slow either. You know, if we had a situation where we had a car that was like massively slower, like can't drive or no direction, the team was actually race, then yeah, it would impact this race. But Bo Walls isn't really going that slow, so he's not really messing with the race that much. I tell you what though, Blaney and Truex, they did not pick a good race to have a bad day. Or maybe they did. Maybe they have a plan for the next 5 races following this one. Or maybe they have a plan in this race. Clint Boyer. Ooh, Kenseth. Stuck in the high line. Kenseth dropping back a few spots now. Actually, that's allowed NROL and Byron to move up a couple spots. But while they continue to battle for second, Floyd Bobbitt continues to dominate the race in first. Ooh, Derper with a bit of left side damage. Well, this race has been caution-free ever since the drop of the green flag. But that may have led this race to get a bit boring. Oh! Here comes Gridrin! Ooh, Gridrin coming out of nowhere. Hang on, was Gridrin up here the whole time I never noticed? Or did he come from the back of the field to move on up? Well, he plans on fighting with the lead pack. He's got his work cut out for him. He's not slow, though. He's catching up. Could Ginger be the one to spoil this party? Maybe not. Here comes Willie B. Man, all these passes are happening for second, but the pass for first hasn't happened for quite a while. So then, halfway down, halfway to go. Oh. I totally didn't notice, but Gridgen fell back. Here comes Tim Tom. And Austin Dillon as well. Wow, Dillon sending it into the corner. Sending it on Almirola. There he goes. Almirola, or Austin Dillon actually becoming the one to spoil the party, as he is now set back Eric Almirola. So now it's just Fredo Bobbin and William Byron out in front. Ooh, I scraped the wall again. Yeah, the racing line at this track is kind of my race. I mean the racing line that the track maker set before publishing this track. I don't know why these people don't beta test their tracks more often. The only control I really have over... Oh, here we go. Oh. We had another hit. I think it involved Quinn Half. No. What happened to bring... What in the world? Someone hit the wall here. Let's go back in time and see what happened. Oh, it was Alex Bowman. Wow. Alex Bowman. Okay, let's start all the way back here. Alex Bowman and Nia, they got together off of turn 4, which really caused an accident. And then Nia, I guess, wanted a bit of retaliation on Bowman. And oh boy, that was very close to being an accident. Wow. Alex Bowman looking to lose a lot of spots because of that. But I tell you what, it could have been worse. Alex Bowman having to come up your road to fix the damage. Damn, as well, Penn got involved in that. What happened with Denny Hamlin? Probably he also got involved in that. Let's see. Oh yeah, he got hit. That's why he was on the bottom lane. Wow, a couple drivers had to come up here for crash damage. And meanwhile, let's go back in time a little bit more as we have lapdog car of Derper. Derper actually about to go a lap down. He's got a second car to go a lap down in this race. Ooh, he's sure slowing up the leaders. That's gonna bunch up the field a little bit. Hasn't really changed much, actually. Although William Byron trying to get a shot to get around Fronito Bobbin. However, Derber not the only one to go a lap down. Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin are a couple laps down as well. In fact, I think Denny Hamlin might be done for the day as a result of that little hit. Alex Bowman as well may or may not be done for the day. We'll check back on those guys a bit later. But it looks like due to a near caution, we now might have our first 2 DNFs in the race just past the halfway point. Matt Kenseth getting around Austin Dillon. But despite all that has happened, Fronito Bobbin has absolutely dominated this race. No one in the last so many laps or so have been able to overtake Fronito Bobbin. And Fronito Bobbin, he's been consistent. He's been consistently good. But he only has 1 win. And that came at Circuit of the Americas way earlier on in the season. And now Fronito Bobbin attempts to get a 2nd win of the season in a playoff race. And as he is high up in the standings, this race is really going to help him out. As all of his closest competition is having a really bad day. And even those who really needed help to get back on top, all of them are having particularly good days either. What in the world was that? Oh. And here we go. Pit stops are occurring. First pit stop of the day, and it just happens to be Fronito Bobbin himself. So there we go. On lap 60, we have our first pit stops of the day. And now with that, someone not named Front Bob will lead up in this race. It has actually caused the battle for the lead between William Byron and Matt Kenseth. By the way, it looks like both Hamlin and Bowman have rejoined the lead, or rejoined the race, but they're now a couple laps down. Here comes Kenseth. No, Kenseth isn't pitting, he's just slowing down. Play the corner. Fernando pitting quite a bit. Oops. Fernando pitting quite a bit earlier though than most of these guys. Could he be trying to pull off the undercut or something? I tell you what, Fernando. Actually, no. Even if there's a caution, Fernando will be able to get back. Oh, here they come. More drivers pitting. The 100 guys of William Byron and Chase Elliott coming back onto the track. Meanwhile, there's some drivers now just rejoined the track. It's now for a smooth pit cycle. And these guys are coming on pit road. Now the race was starting and Kevin Harvick having a bit of a fun battle. Oops. Oh, hey. Sorry, apologies for that. Karen Harvick trying to get around the Xbox nerd. Oh, Stenhouse. Ooh, Harvick coming up for foot, but the Xbox nerd isn't. Yeah, it's coming on this time by though. So who's now your leader? Couldn't quite tell. Ooh, I think it might be Harvick. Harvick is currently credited for second. Oh, here we go. Ford and Bobman's back on the track. And back in front, too. So we'll see how the field cycles out once pit stops are complete. It makes the McDonald's car. You might choose that for Matt Kenseth, but that is actually Bubba Wallace. Not sure how he managed to have two McDonald's cars in the same race. But the real Xbox 30, didn't we see him coming up pit road? Is he really still on? Oh. Okay, there we go. Okay, everything's being weird. Okay, there we go. Alright, so top 10 is now Fernando Bobbin, Matt Kenseth, Chase Elliott, Nia, Jimmy Johnson, Matt DiBenedetto, William Byron, Gridron, Austin Dillon, and Rebecca. Ooh. A couple solo goes in the top 10. But that being said, the field is now just totally strung out. Somehow Gridron got some rear end damage. Not sure how that happened. So right now, yeah, Matt Kenseth and Fernando Bobbin are just kind of in no man's land. So let's see what happens in the battle for third. So you got Nia trying to get around Chase Elliott and Matt DiBenedetto trying to have a say in this fight as well. He's not too far back. Ooh, Nia. There she goes. As Phil's on fresh tires now, it's easier to make passes. And Nia gets around Chase Elliott. Magda Benedetto, another driver, attempting to get around Chase Elliott. So battle for third has now become a three-way race. Meanwhile, on the ticker, you may have noticed Matt Kenseth gained a little bit of ground on Freund Bobbin. So unless another caution comes out, this is the race to the checkered flag. Or is it? Matt Kenseth just dropped a couple seconds on Freund Bobbin. Oh, but he had to gain a bit of time. I guess we'll just have to see what happens from lap to lap. Oh, that time the field did gain a little bit, all in front of Bobbin. I think these three guys here actually might be doing better at catching in front of Bobbin because they're all in like a pack. So they're able to draft each other, help each other out. Well, that's not going to help though. Denny Hamlin slung him up. Come on, Hamlin, you're ruining the race. Although, that also may have impacted the lead. Oh, more lap traffic to come, actually. So, let's race. Man, if these guys, though, could just get around the lap, guys, as quickly as possible. You know, Nia, Magda Benedetto, all these guys could have a shot at the win. We're gonna have some battling here as Magda Benedetto tries to get around Nia. Now Byron on Magda Benedetto. Alright, so Nia kind of all on her own, although the main reason those three were catching up to Freund was because they were in a pack, so. And not so. Nia did lose did gain a little bit of ground on the leader. Yep, ground continues to be gained. And Jimmy Johnson now racing his teammate. Tell you what, Jimmy Johnson's having a really good day. I tell you what, this race seen a number of guys up here, but one thing that stayed the same is Freund Bobbin. Freund Bobbin has just dominated this entire race. And I tell you what, it's going to be really, really good for Freund Bobbin. Ooh, not good for Nia. That's just costed her a little bit. Might even cost her a spot if she goes any slower. Okay, but they have one more lap down car to catch, and that is Bubba Wallace. Meanwhile, Matt Kenseth continuing to run down Fronito Bobbin. Alright, so that's the lap car. With that being said, however, time is running out. So they really gotta step it up. Here comes Kevin Harvick. He's the 4th Haas driver to make waves in this race. Actually, a lot of these guys are starting to form a bit of a pack. Meanwhile, Matt Kenseth is edging ever closer to Fronito Bobbin. Matt Kenseth has a little bit of draft. Especially now that he's getting closer and closer to Fronito Bobbin. And he continues to close the gap. So, regardless of Fronito Bobbin winning today or not, he has absolutely dominated this race. However, Matt Kenseth, could he go for the win? We may never see Matt Kenseth out here ever again. So, the legend, Jimmy Johnson, won the last couple races. Could another legend in Matt Kenseth win the day? And I can't confirm that Matt Kenseth hasn't won any races this year, so if he were to win this one, it would indeed be his first win of the season. And it would add on to his very impressive resume. Here he goes, Kenseth to the bottom. He now has 13 laps to complete the pass and keep it. And while the field behind is slowly but surely catching up, I don't think there's enough laps remaining in this race for them to make any difference. Tell you what, the Kenseth's got to pick exactly the right time to get around Fronito Bobbin. He's got a pretty good run on the back straightaway. No, he doesn't. He's got to get that slingshot maneuver. Or, yeah, pull that slingshot maneuver. Yes, my English isn't the best. I know. So what has been a caution-free race has come down to this. Canada actually lost a little bit of ground. Actually, I think the same thing's happening to the pack back here. Man, they're a good 3 seconds gap. 3 seconds back. I don't think that there's enough time left in this race for these guys to race the leaders. So they just resort to racing each other. Nia has now lost 4th to Kevin Harvick. Most better motorsports guys in this fight. And also it's worth mentioning that Bowman, and what we also there is, but Percy Serp left this race at some point. Wow, Percy, a playoff driver. So Percy's playoff run has now gone from bad to worse in this race. Oh, hang on a minute. We haven't seen a pass for the lead. I do apologize for missing what has just happened here. But we have a pass for the lead. Let's now rewind time and see this in better detail. As Fronito Bobbin is now being rumbled by Matt Kenseth, and Matt Kenseth is now made the pass, and there is Matt Kenseth with the move on Fronito Bobbin on the front straightaway, and Matt Kenseth clears Fronito Bobbin heading into turn 2, and Matt Kenseth has taken the lead in the race. And another thing, not only would this be a good day for Matt Kenseth, but it would also be a good day for McDonald's. As McDonald's trying to break the Mick curse that has existed since the 90s. So Jimmy Johnson got a couple more wins in his career in the last couple races. And now it's time for another legend in the sport to get a win, if they can. But of course, Matt Kenseth in a tight race with your championship leader and your could-be champion in this season, as Fredo Bobbin was already high up in the points, and he's going to be a lot higher once this race is over with. But that being said, he did just lose out on 5 points. I guess the question now is, who is this race we're going to be more into? Matt Kenseth getting what could be his final win in his career, or Fredo Bobbin getting a win that will really further his chances at winning this championship? Here comes a slow-moving Denny Hamlin lap down car. And just like the Siemens National Series race, we have a lap down car, which will impact things late in the race. And as a result, Fredo Bobbin is right on Matt Kenseth's tail, but Kenseth going to keep the lead as he gets around Matt Kenseth, or Denny Hamlin, but it's not going to be enough. Fredo Bobbin goes back to the inside lane, and Fredo Bobbin is not going to give up so easily. Ooh, but he can't quite send it into the corner, and Kenseth is going to keep the lead. 4 laps to go in Kenseth. It is now a duel between Fredo Bobbin and Matt Kenseth. The cars behind really do not have a say in this fight. So in the last 3 laps, and what could be for the whole race if the cars were to come out, it is the race for the win between Matt Kenseth and Fredo Bobbin. I was kind of expecting this to be a wreckfest, but this race has gone completely caution-free, and there goes Fredo Bobbin. As Fredo Bobbin still has some race left in him, and with 3 laps to go, Fredo Bobbin on the inside lane. And the Kenseth fans are not happy about this, as Fredo Bobbin has now just taken the lead. And Fredo Bobbin, in an attempt to really ram in his chances at winning this championship. With 2 laps to go, he is your leader. Fredo Bobbin was only a few points back from, I think it was Ryan Blaney who was your points leader. But now that Ryan Blaney and Trix Jr. are having bad days, I think. Oh, but here comes Kenseth with one last hurrah. White flag is in there, warm up to go in the Apple 500. And Matt Kenseth with one last hurrah. Matt Kenseth with one more pass on Fredo Bobbin. And this race is going to go all the way to the checkered flag. Matt Kenseth has the lead, but Fredo Bobbin is right there. And here they come through the final corner. And Fredo Bobbin, while still a very dominating day, it is going to be the legend himself, Matt Kenseth, who will win the Apple 500 at Kansas. And actually, no, the Mick curse was actually broken quite some time ago. But either way, the 2 McDonald's sponsor driver, the Chip Ganassi Racing, would get a win. And for today, it is Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth, a legend in the sport. Another driver to score a win in their career before it's all over. You know, here's a bit of a backstory. Matt Kenseth, in a race that you will not see, he won the first attempt of a race I did at the Paris circuit. And ironically, Jimmy Johnson also won a race in this point of the season. So, I tell you what though, the canon is not entirely lost, as even in the timeline that we're in right now, the new timeline, because the old one sucked, Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson are still winners. And they will still get one more win before it's all over. Jimmy Johnson has got 2 more wins and even came back. So Jimmy Johnson, currently on a top 5 streak. Russell David even rallied back to finish 18th, and Ryan Blaney rallied back to finish 19th. So, could have been worse. So let's go over the finishing grid. Matt Kenseth with the win, Frontier's Bob in 2nd, Kevin Roderick in 3rd, Jimmy Johnson 4th, Douglas 5th, Nia 6th, Oliver 7th, Chase Dillon 8th, William Byron 9th, Christian Bell in 10th, Matt DeBanden 11th, Bryce Keselowski in 12th. A pretty good day for him. Keselowski, really another driver, playoff driver who's really needs some help. This race should help him out at least a little bit. Austin Dillon comes home in 13th, Gurgen 14th, Rebecca 15th, Tyler Reddick 16th, Joe Logano 17th, Russell David 18th, Ryan Blaney 19th. A couple of drivers with some decent days. Russell David didn't start too well, but Russell David another top 20, but Russell David another playoff driver in need of some help. And tell you what, for these guys who finished badly, their championship fights really aren't going to become any better. So Russell David, unfortunately, doesn't look like it's going to be his year as a champion. And Blaney as well, who did rally back to finish 19th. So Ryan Blaney, who was already running mid-pack at the start of this race, Ryan Blaney actually fell all the way back down, has managed to rally his way back up to 19th. So Ryan Blaney isn't necessarily out of the competition yet. He is going to be quite a few points now behind Frontier's Bob, but it's not over. Real Xbox Nerd comes home in 20th, Donald 21st, Bangkok 22nd, Ryan Newman 23rd, Chris Bush 24th, Max another driver who needed to have a good day but didn't. But Truex not quite out of the competition yet, but now he's got a bit more work cut off for him in these next races. Kyle Busch in 26th, Eric Gummerell 27th, Cole Custer 28th. Custer, he has, Custer just was barely even relevant all season, made it into the playoffs on points, and actually the same thing can be said about the fallen drivers behind him. Duncan 29th, Ryan Preece in 30th, and Aaron Jones 31st. None of those guys were doing very good in the playoffs, and I think this race has just made their chances just go even further away, and I don't think that any of these guys have a legit shot to win this championship now, unless they can make a miracle happen in the next few races, but I just don't really see it happening. Kurt Busch comes home in 32nd, Ricky Sessions 23rd, Darian Drisick 34th, Tim Thumb 35th, Clint Boyer 36th, Quinell 37th, Alex Bowman 33rd, Burt 39th, Bo Wallace 40th, Denny Hamlin 41st, and Percy Serp, who retired at some point in this race. Wow. I tell you what, though. The only playoff driver that had a truly good day was Frontier's Bob. And Frontier's Bob, he was already high up in the point standings. And now he's going to be even higher. So Frontier's Bob is going to be quite the force to be reckoned with in these next 5 races. We will see if Frontier's Bob can keep up the consistency and might be a back-to-back champion. But the winner for today is Matt Kenseth. Goes to victory lane one more time. That's it from Kansas. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in whatever I make next.